VinFuture Prize, a new global science and technology prize for humanity from Vietnam. One VinFuture Grand Prize of $3 million. 3 additional special VinFuture prizes valued at $500,000 each. VinFuture Prize honors science and technology work that creates or has a high potential to create meaningful change in the everyday lives of millions of people. Join us to make a change for a better future.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and our beloved scientists. We'd love to take this chance to say thank you and to express our gratitude towards your attendance and also your support during the last 2 months. And with the 6 meaningful info session that we have had together, we had the chance to approach more potential nominators from all around the world. Thank you very much. Before we start today's session, please mute your microphone to make sure the video and audio quality when you're not speaking. And you can leave your question in the chat box for Q&A session later. We would also like to inform you that the meeting will be recorded for our records and also for the note-taking purpose. And please kindly let us know if you have any objection. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and our beloved scientists, established in December 2020, VinFuture Prize is a new global science and technology prize originating from Vietnam. And we launched our call for nominations since the second season, since the last February 16. And since then, we are very grateful to have had your support, your acceptance to become the official nominators for the prize. To date, we are having 2,400 accepted nominators. That's such a very amazing news for us and for a very potential season of the prize. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation to become our official VinFuture nominator of the 2022 VinFuture Prize. It has been a great pleasure meeting with many of you virtually in the past 6 weeks in our webinar series. And all of you, we hope that all of you have had a great times and informative webinars with us. Regarding your nomination submission process, our records indicates that many of our nominators are yet to create an account on the VinFuture Prize nomination portal. On behalf of the foundation and the prize, I would like to emphasize with all of you that your role as a nominator, official VinFuture Prize nominator 2022 is critically vital to support nominees and their works, their breakthroughs and their invention that can make an impact on millions, even billions of people around the world, and thereby make a significant contribution to the development of the science and the well-being of the mankind. So please start submitting your nominations at our VinFuture Prize portal as soon as possible, so you can have more time and we can have more time to take the best care of your submission. And we hope that our series of webinars can support you with more detailed information about the foundation, the prize, as well as the nomination process. For today's webinar, it's our honor to introduce to you our panelists from the VinFuture Foundation. Please welcome Professor Thục Quyên Nguyễn from University of California, Santa Barbara, co-chair of the VinFuture Pre-Screening Committee, chair of today's webinar. Thank you for your presence. Please welcome Professor Sir Kostya Novoselov, FRS from the University of Manchester, United Kingdom, and National University of Singapore, member of the VinFuture Prize Council, co-chair of today's webinar. Welcome, Professor. And let us welcome Professor Omar Yagi from University of California, Berkeley, USA, the 2021 VinFuture Laureates of Special Prize for Innovators with Outstanding Achievements in Emerging Fields. Welcome, Professor. And from the VinFuture Foundation, it's our honor to introduce to you Dr. Lê Thái Hà, Managing Director of the VinFuture Prize. Please welcome my dear colleagues of the Prize Secretariat, ones who know almost everything about the submission process and requirements also. Dr. Minh Anh, Dr. Thanh Hiền, and also Dr. Viet Bắc, who is joining us virtually today. The agenda of today's session will include the inspiring talk with the VinFuture inaugural laureates. And then there will be the sharing session from Dr. Lê Thái Hà, the Managing Director of our VinFuture Prize. Next will be the sharing with the panelists about the pre-screening and also about the selection process. An introduction about the VinFuture Prize by Professor Thục Quyên Nguyễn, chair of our webinar. And then Dr. Ming Anh from the Secretariat will introduce you about the nomination form. Lastly, there will be time for a Q&A session, the most important parts of our webinar. For the first part of today's webinar, it's been a long time we haven't had the chance to talk to Professor Omayagi. Let us say hello and how are you, Professor Omayagi? Any updates on your work recently after the award ceremony?
Yes, hello. What a pleasure it is to be here. It's good to see all of you. Well, in our own research, we have basically invented a whole class of new materials that use nature's building units, inorganic units and organic building units, to make a whole class of new materials that have applications in carbon capture to clean the air and turn potentially carbon dioxide to fuels, as well as harvesting water from air to make drinking water. So in the most recent results, we have shown exactly, for example, how water molecules, the mechanism by which the water molecules can enter into the pores of these materials we call metal organic frameworks or MOFs, and the order with which they fill the pores. This has helped us a lot in making materials that have very large capacity for storing water, especially removing water from air, in desert air, concentrating it into the pores and making drinking water. So this is some of the more recent things that we have been working on.
Brilliant. It would be great if we can have like an editorial that you can share with everyone about the progress of your innovations. Maybe later we can have a partnership, right? In an editorial about your progress. Thank you very much. The next question for you, talking about scientists and about nominators that we are having today in our webinars. We're not only talking about the talents and about the insight or knowledge that they have, but also about their confidence. It means that they dare to show people, to show everyone what they have. About their innovation, about their inventions or things like that. So you once called yourself as a discoverer, as I still remember in our last talk to prepare for the conversation with the laureates in Hanoi, Vietnam. So what made you dare to dream big and think big even during your early days when you haven't had anything? Can you share with us, Professor?
Well, I think scientists, especially basic scientists, are privileged to think beyond what is, beyond the general and let's say the trodden path. I think that we can develop ideas, think up things, and develop ideas that go beyond what our respective fields are doing and what is established in our own fields. So I've always wanted to do something different. And having a lab where I can carry out experiments is quite a privilege to be able to carry out those experiments that I always wanted to do. So in my own field, when I started my independent career, making extended structures or solid state structures or materials, let's say, was in those days, 30 years ago, we used to call it shake and bake approach, meaning that you mix things up and you heat them up to high temperature and you got what thermodynamics gave you. So I wanted to really put some rational thinking into making materials, and for that, we developed the chemistry of stitching molecular building blocks, well-defined molecular building blocks, to make crystalline extended structures that are also well-defined because we can characterize them using X-ray diffraction. So yes, I enjoy very much discovering new things, but new materials, new chemical structures, and that was the beginning, is the enjoyment of discovering new structures and studying their properties. But now, after so many years of doing that, we are able to take those structures and incorporate them into machines that can harvest carbon dioxide from air, that can harvest water from air, that can carry out catalysis. So this is it's quite, I would say it's quite exciting. This is the very first time probably in the history of chemistry where someone can dream up a material with a specific structure, and you can actually go to the lab and follow the chemistry we call reticular chemistry and make that very structure. So yes, it's quite exciting.
Thank you very much, Professor. It's really beautiful when you talk about your first dream and your early days when you felt that the beauty of the molecule. And today you are still so passionate talking about that, about the journey with you and molecular and all of your innovations relating to that. And I just hope that like you, all other scientists can share with us about their journey, about their story. And because all the scientists, they mostly work in the lab, they don't know about others' inventions. Maybe sometime they will worry about the quality of their inventions, but you will never know. It's the best. Yours is the best until you show everyone, right? And the next question I want to ask you, because a lot of people talk about the VinFuture prize with our prize, the value of the prize or things like that. But what do you think about the other special aspect of the prize? For example, there's 3 special categories of the VinFuture prize: innovators from developing countries, females innovators, and of course, your category, innovators with outstanding achievement in emerging fields. What do you think about that?
Well, I think if you look at the VinFuture prize, you'd be struck by the fact that they are covering aspects that other prizes, especially of that class, world or international prizes, that other prizes don't quite cover in such a pronounced way. So, for example, there's a third world prize, acknowledging that in fact science is done not just in the research strong countries, but also in many countries around the world. There are scientists hard at work making progress in their own environment and making inventions that impact millions of people. And so I appreciate this category very much. I also appreciate the category rewarding women in science. And I think that the contribution of women in science is undervalued. And again, this category brings out something like the contributions that women make every day, everywhere in the world to science, and in a inventive and impactful way. And I think the prize acknowledges that as well. The prize that I received was in an emerging area. Again, emerging areas don't sometimes get the recognition that they deserve because they are emerging. So somebody needs to have the vision and the insights of what the science that is being developed to see that in fact it is impactful. And then of course the category where science that has reached millions and billions of people. Again, all those categories are unique, and the array of categories covering the different aspects that, for the most part, international prizes don't cover. So I was very impressed when I was in Vietnam during the celebration, and as we also learn more and more about the prize, very impressed by how thoughtful it was to articulate those areas and bring them out so that scientists all over the world can be recognized for their contribution.
Thank you very much, Professor. I always found your answer and your sharing very inspiring. So that's why I asked a little bit too many questions, right? So sorry for a long question. And wish you all the best with the next project that you are having. And we hope that you can stay with us in the webinars today and maybe join us in the Q&A session. Thank you, Professor. And ladies and gentlemen, and our beloved potential nominators, for the next parts of today's webinar, we will have the sharing about the foundation and the founders, and also about our country, Vietnam, from Dr. Lê Thị Hà, the Managing Director of the VinFuture. Please, Dr. Lê Thị Hà.
Thanks, Chang. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lê Thị Hà, and I am the Managing Director of VinFuture Prize, VinFuture Foundations. First, I'd like to thank you all for spending your time with us today, and I hope that you will find this webinar session informative and helpful. I'm going to start out today by sharing with you about our country, Vietnam, followed by the introduction on our founders and Vin Group. Then finally, I will share some essential information about the VinFuture Foundation. First, let's talk about our beloved country, Vietnam. As you may know, Vietnam is located in Southeast Asia with a population of 96.2 million. Vietnam has recently emerged as a new tiger economy of Asia. There has been many positive transformations happening in our country. We have a vibrant and dynamic business environment. Our people are famous for their friendliness, hard work, and willingness to learn. This is also reflected in the working environment and people at Vin Group. This is what we are very proud of. Second, I would like to share about our founders, Mr. Phạm Nhật Vượng and Madame Phạm Thu Hương, his wife. Mr. Vượng was born in 1968 in Hanoi. He studied in Russia, and after graduation, he started his first business and later became Vin Group. In 2013, he was named by Forbes as a self-made billionaire, become successful with his own effort and hard work. Mr. Vượng has a great passion to do things which can contribute to for better life for people. He once said, "I don't care how much money I make, I want to build things that make life beautiful." In 2020, he was honored by the Forbes Heroes of Philanthropy in the Asia-Pacific region for his significant contributions to Vietnam's pandemic relief. The second founder is his wife, Madame Phạm Thu Hương. She is a standing vice president of Vin Group. Ms. Hương graduated from Kiev National University based in Ukraine with a master's degree in international law. She has accompanied Mr. Vượng since the early days of starting a business in Ukraine, and since then, she has been one of the senior leaders of Vin Group. Vin Group is the largest private corporation in Vietnam, focusing on three core pillars: industry, service, and social philanthropy. We have a track record of transforming new business into market leaders. You can see that we are pioneers and the largest player in almost everything we do, from hospitality, real estate, healthcare, education, to mobility. We are very active in promoting education, healthcare, and people development. In 2020, the Khai Hurt Foundation, one of Vin Group's subsidiaries, donated more than 400 million to fight against COVID-19 and contribute to other charitable activities. Vin Group operates Vin School, a not-for-profit K-12 education system with international standards, and Vin University, which is the country's first and only not-for-profit university with a mission to develop talents for the future. The group also funds the Science Technology Scholarship Program for Master and PhD students in Vietnam, so that hundreds of students can have the opportunity to study in the world's leading universities such as Harvard, MIT, Cornell, etc. In the field of healthcare, Vin Group operates VinMec, which is the largest private healthcare system in Vietnam, pioneering in applying technology to provide the best healthcare to the patient. Now, this is the recent exciting news. The President Biden has recently praised VinFast, our electric car company, for the 4 billion investments, which expect to help create more than 7,000 jobs in North Carolina. Now, I'd like to share with you more about the mission of the VinFuture Foundation and the key activities that is involved. The VinFuture Foundation mission is to build a future where breakthrough scientific research and technological innovation empower people, positively enhance their life, and create a more equitable and sustainable world for the future generations. We are working toward this mission through 5 activities. First and foremost is the annual VinFuture Prize, which is the largest annual prize in science and technology in the world. The second activity involves grant-making strategies, and we also work to promote STEM and innovation-based curricula in the education system. And we also work on long-term partnership with leading universities in science and technology across the world. All in all, I would like to emphasize that the ultimate goals of the foundation is to rebuild a better life for people after pandemic. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Lê Hải Hà. And right now, I would like to invite all of you to watch a video about the first journey of the first year of the VinFuture Prize.
Vietnam is in the center of the world's attention when, for the first time, the world's greatest brains convened here to attend the very first Global Sci-Tech Prize initiated and held by Vietnam. The VinFuture Prize received over 1,000 nominators from 71 countries across 6 continents. A stellar number of 599 outstanding nominees, 100 of whom are in the top 2% of the world's most cited scientists. 43 excellent shortlisted nominees and 4 award winners that have broken new grounds and taken pioneering directions, impacting the lives of billions of people on Earth. The VinFuture Prize has become the focus of attention for the global and Vietnamese scientific communities, garnering over 3,000 domestic and international press articles, as well as 1.6 million live and online views, highlighting Vietnam on the world map for science and technology by connecting domestic researchers with world-renowned scientists. The VinFuture Prize has been a fanfare of emotional and inspiring moments, with a pleasant and respectful welcoming reception. The breathtaking sophistication of the stage setup and the musical performances by world-renowned American musician John Legend. Genius pianist Dang Thai Son and a spellbinding stage show featuring the gentle sway of the Vietnamese Ao Dai and conical hats by artist Linh Nga, and the moments of triumph and joy when award winners took the stage. VinFuture has been an evocation of Vietnamese pride, with the national flag flying high during the national anthem, place of pride given to the bronze drum and lotus, two cultural emblems of Vietnam, the proud stylized V emblazoned on VinFuture trophies handcrafted and gilded entirely by Vietnamese artisans, and with the certificates of merit awarded to scientists printed on traditional Zo paper, showcasing the Vietnamese people's heartfelt appreciation of their worldwide friends. Where cutting-edge science met outstanding art, where minds, hearts, and beliefs connected, and where the Vietnamese celebrated their cultural identity with international friends. Keep reaching new heights.
Welcome back to the information webinar of the 2022 VinFuture Prize for Asia. And right now, we would like to move to the sharing with the panelists. For the first question, I would like to ask Professor Kostia, one of our member of the Prize Council. Welcome back to the second webinar that you are having with us today. So with nominators or nominees that who are concerning about the continuous increase of the nominator number, if someone is worrying that his or her nomination is not good enough, what will you tell them, please, Professor?
Well, first of all, it's really a great pleasure to be here again, and I should say that all our webinars are quite dynamic, and I do understand. So back to the question, I do understand that people might be worried how good is the nomination. First of all, I should say that that's probably the rightful worry, because the quality of the of the nominations is extremely high. So I'm really pleased that from the very first year we managed to set up the prize at the very high level and at the very high standard. But at the same time, what I would like to say is that we really cherish and value and praise the scientific achievements and creativity and ingenuity, and sometimes even a very simple scientific ideas can give rise to very really magnificent breakthroughs in technology. So VinFuture Prize is quite a special prize. So it's we need really we would like to see the impact on humanity in the long term. So sometimes even the very fundamental, very basic breakthroughs in science can give us those huge impactful phenomena. So I would definitely like to encourage as many nominators to put forward their nominees and let us to decide on it.
Thank you, Professor. And I believe that you all will agree with me that if all of us be afraid, we are afraid and we're not go for it, there will be no nominations and there will be no laureates and there will be no VinFuture Prize, right? And other prize also. So we really want to encourage all of our nominators to start submitting nominations without being afraid of anything, because you will never know about the quality of your nominations in comparison with others. So just try it. And thank you very much, Professor Kostia. The next question I would like to ask Professor Tu Quyên Nguyễn, our chair of webinar today. Can you share some of the issues that our nominators might face during the submission process, please, Professor?
So, hello everybody, and so what I seen the issue that come up a lot is how to measure the impact, right? And so that's the question people, many nominators have asked us from time to time. That so we would like if you can try your best when you put forward the nomination, and and also another confusion sometimes that people ask us whether should you focus on the discovery of one patent or one publication, or should it be a whole body of work that the entire nominee career achievement? And so those are so for us at the end of the day, we look at for the grand prize the already impact on everyday life, the technology, the breakthrough already have the impact. And then for the 3 special prizes, and we can be the potential impact that can take probably in a year, can be in a few years. And so those are the kind of challenges that sometimes a nominee find it, a nominator find it difficult to really measure or how to put forward in the nomination package. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor. And we hope that we can share with you a little bit more about the issues and as well as the thing that we can, how we can deal with those issues in the next parts of our today's webinar with the Q&A session. For now, I would like to invite you, Professor Tu Quyên Nguyễn, to give a brief introduction about the VinFuture Prize. Please, Professor.
So I would like to take just 10 minutes or so to tell you a little bit about the VinFuture Prize. So it is the first sci-tech global prize from Vietnam and is one of the world's largest annual prizes in science and technology. And so we have the grand prize valued at $3 million and is awarded annually to proven breakthrough research and technological innovation that positively improve the quality of human life. And they special prizes valued at $500,000 each will be awarded for the following categories: innovator from the developing countries, female innovators, and innovators with outstanding achievements in emerging fields. So the question that we encounter quite frequently, that what makes the VinFuture Prize unique and differentiated from other global prizes. And so the VinFuture Prize is unique and differentiated because it is the first global science and technology prize for Vietnam and first fund of this stature established in the Asia Pacific region. Is open to any discipline of science and engineering or technology, including multidisciplinary approaches. It honors science and technology work that creates or has a high potential to create meaningful change in everyday life of millions of ordinary people on the global scale. And it recognizes solutions that address the real world problems, aligning with one or more of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So we have the Prize Council comprised of leading scientists from different disciplines. We have Professor Friend from the UK, Dr. Anandan from India, Professor Tuocheza from the US, Professor Kosa from France, Professor Deng from the US, and Dr. Huang from the US, Professor Muri from France, and Professor Novoselov from UK and Singapore, Professor Porter from the US, and Professor Valiant, Professor Wu, both are from the US. And we also have the pre-screening committee, and myself and Professor Pisano, we co-chair the pre-screening committee. We have Professor Kota from Brazil, Professor Do from the US and from Vietnam, Mr. Kakimoto from Japan, Professor Nguyen from the US, Professor Sut from Australia, Professor Soiket from Canada, and Professor Yam from Hong Kong. And so a little bit about the timeline of this year nomination. So the call for nomination, the open nomination, started in mid-February, and on May 17, 2022, so that where we closed the nomination. And from June to September, where the pre-screening committee will work and to look at the nomination. And then from October to November, we have the review and selection process by the Prize Council. And the VinFuture Awards ceremony will be in early 2023. So who can be the prize nominator? So we do not accept self-nomination. And nominators are recognized organizations such as university, research institutes, centers, academies of science and technology, scientific association, network, corporation and industry, and also prominent individual in the related area. And both organizational and institutional nominators and individual nominators can submit their nomination for the VinFuture prizes via the online nomination form. And one nominator can nominate up to 4 nominations, but only one nomination for each prize category. It means that one nominator cannot nominate 2 different nominees for the grand prize category. So what are the key nomination criteria? So number one, it's open to any discipline of science, engineering, or technology, including multidisciplinary approaches. Open to individual or teams of researchers and inventors. Open to researchers or inventors who have involved in developing the underlying solutions, and not to entrepreneurs or corporates who help in commercialization, diffusion of the technology. And solution should be aligned with one or more of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to bring positive impact on the global scale. and solution must be scientifically proven, and there should be clear evidence or potential for an end product or service based on the solution, which has an everyday practical application. And lastly, solutions should have been already benefited or will have the potential to be benefit millions of the people. And I mentioned this briefly for the grant prize. So we would like to see it already benefited, already make the impact, where for the special prize, it can have the potential impact. And so this just to give you the snapshot of the 2021 VinFuture Science Tech Week before the ceremony. And here we have the conversation with members of VinFuture Prize Council and pre-screening committee. And then we also have the Science for Life Symposium. We have discussion, the forum about future of energy, about the future of global health, and also future of artificial intelligence. And then we also have scientific dialogue with the VinFuture Prize laureates, and that's shown here. And then this is just some more photo of our event. And so this slide shows you the 2021 VinFuture Prize laureate. We have Dr. Kathleen Carrico, co-share the grand prize with Professor Drew Weissman and also Professor Peter Kulis. And then for the Female Innovator Prize, the winner is Professor Zinan Bao. And we're very honored to have our laureate for the Outstanding Achievement in Emerging Field, Professor Omar Yagi, here with us today. And Professor Karisa Karim shared the prize for innovator from developing country with Professor Salim Karim. And so with that, we will be happy to answer any question.
Thank you very much, Professor Du Quyên, for your sharing all the information about the prize, the VinFuture Prize. And right now, I think it's the time for us, because we have no information about the prize, the founders, the foundation. And right now, maybe the time for the submission process and the nomination process. And the best one who can give you information about this, please let us welcome my colleague, Dr. Minh Anh, for this part of the webinar.
Thank you very much, Jen. Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to walk you through the important contents of the Illumination Portal and the Illumination form. So first of all, about the Illumination Portal at online.vinfutureprize.org/nomination. You can scan the QR code you see on the screen to open the Illumination Portal and webpage. So on this page, you can download the instructions and the endorsement letter template. In the instructions, you can find the complete nomination form where you can draft the nomination whenever you have time, and then copy paste the draft into the online portal. There are 7 contents content tabs at the nomination form, and I would like to call your attention to tab number 5 and tab number 7. On tab number 5, you are invited to give your evaluation on the nominee's invention, including scientific fundamental knowledge, uniqueness, and advancement of the invention. Then please go to the most significant social economic impacts of the invention, including the number of beneficiaries, for example, people, countries, or continents. And then please elaborate on how this invention has transformed or will potentially transform everyday lives of millions of people. And then last but not least, it's the very important part of this evaluation is the history of the invention. You are invited to explain when and how the invention started and who else except the nominees was involved in initiating or contributing to the invention. On tab number 7, you can see we are asking you for the supporting documentation. Among the most important documents are the CV of the nominees and the endorsement letter. You can attach the endorsement letter here in the PDF file, or you can also provide the endorsement at the typing space at page number 6, and you will have 200 words for that endorsement. And if you have any publication or patent of the nominees, you can also attach here. So in the process of submitting your nomination, if you have any questions or you face any technical issues, please kindly email us at secretariat@vinfutureprize.org. We will be more than happy to assist you in your nomination preparation and submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Minh Anh. And from today, I think we have almost a month, right, to finish your nomination process until the deadline of May 17th. But don't worry, because we are all here with you all the time, especially our secretariats. And right now, I realized that in the list of our participants today, we have a very familiar name. We have to share with you that in the second season, we are so grateful. We have a lot of supporters in Vietnam and around the world. They help us a lot in spreading the information, introducing to us a lot of nominators and a lot of new partners. And the one I'm talking about right now, he's right now in our chat room, in our Zoom call. And I would like to share with you and introduce to you Mr. Coming Viet. Hello, anh Viet. And today, really nice to see you. Actually, we work together almost virtually, right? And today is the first time I can see your face.
Yes,
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And thank you very much for being a very enthusiastic supporter of VinFuture Prize for this year's season. Can you say hello to all of our audience and nominators?
Oh, thank you. First, I have to thank you, Chang, and thank you, VinFuture Prize Foundation, for inviting me here today. And hello to everyone. It's such a very honor for me to be here today to join the webinar with VinFuture Prize. Yes, I know VinFuture Prize from the beginning, and I have chance to work with Mr. Dr. Minh Anh and another secretary in the VinFuture Prize. Very honored for me to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Viet. And I would like to introduce to you Mr. Coming Viet, the founder and the CEO of the great IP Consulting Co. From Vietnam. He's also the co-founder of Vietnam-Japan Open Innovation Network, NPO Japan. And thank you for being with us in this year's season. I just want to ask you one question about your feeling, about your experience. What do you think about your experience being with us this year in the nomination time, the call for nomination?
Thank you very much for your question. First I'd like to say that I have time to work for Vingroup as a COO of Vingroup Japan in 2019, just only 1 year. At that time when Vingroup built the first car, and I am in charge of finding new technologies in Japan to apply for the new car, and another technology to apply for the smart city in Vingroup. And how could I say, it's just a short time, just only 1 year. And I have experience to work in Japan in nearly 18 years. And at that time, I found that there's so many technologies that are developing in Japan that can be applied in Vietnam. Especially it can be applied in the Vingroup ecosystem. But it's very hard for us to. I also realize that Vietnam is compared to Japan, is the science and technology in Vietnam is a very low level compared to Japan. And with the VinFuture Prize Foundation that established last year, and I follow the foundation all the time, and it's a very good chance for not only for Vietnamese or Vietnam, but also for another country, like from the developing country, from the third world countries, to have a very big chance to show that what they really need and what they are really need from the new technology, that the new technologies that are developed in other countries like Japan, America, or even in Europe can be applied to help people living in the third world country and in developing country. And it's really, how can I say, it's a very good idea to have VinFuture Prize Foundation. I think so.
Yeah, and thanks to your support, we were able to touch a lot of sci-tech community in developing countries, especially. Mr. Viet have supported us to reach out to the Ministry of Science and Technologies in Vietnam, and also many other different innovations networks. And we're very thankful for that. And today, one more question for you. What do you think about the current position of developing countries like Vietnam and other countries in the sci-tech map, the world sci-tech map?
There's only one. There's one thing I recognize when I work in Japan, and when I trying to find new technology that can be applied in the ecosystem of Vingroup, and also in Vietnam, that there are many new technologies that are developed in Japan and in other countries. But in those countries, people living there, they don't need to improve. How can I say? Their life is good enough, and the youth there, they just enjoy the life, They even don't know how to work, to work hard to earn for their living. So they don't really need a new technology for their living. You can invent a lot of new materials, you can invent a lot of new technology. You can say that it's beautiful, it can help people to do something, but they still spending their time to enjoy what they're having now, and they don't need a new one. And with the new technologies, you have to apply that to a place where people really need it. People really have to have something to solve their problems. And as Mr. Le Tai Ha said, or Mr. Quinn also said, that we have some sustainable goals, developing goals, that we have to help people that really need the technologies. And with from the developing countries' view, people need a place to apply the new technology that they cannot invent, that they cannot find, they really don't have ability to invent a new technology, but they need to apply that technology. And if that technology is invented from another country, it can be for example, bring to Vietnam, apply in Vietnam. As I said, that from the technology's view, that the technology can be developed in many phases. And if you just invented it in the laboratory, the lab, it cannot be applied to the real life, and it must be brought to some place to apply, and then to approve that it really works and is really helpful, as good for people, millions of people. And from the developing country, from third countries like Vietnam, Southeast Asia, or even for example, in India or in Africa, I think it's the best place to apply new technology, to confirm that technology is really necessary for people to have new experience, to have a better life. And it is really, that is the meaning of new technologies. That is meaningful, not just invent the technology and you have you receive some money, you won the prize, and then you put it in the pocket, or put it in the box, and it cannot be applied to the real life. I think that's the point, from the point of view of developing country, we see in that way, and it's really helpful. I think so.
Thank you very much, Mr. Viet. And I can't agree more with you, because we have to say that developing countries are ideal environments for all the scientists and innovators, right, to do research and to innovate, because here we have more issues. Here we have more like pandemics. Many of them starts from developing country, and here we have more difficulties. We have motivations to change, to leverage the new
technology and also innovations. Thank you very much for your sharing, and thank you for joining us today. I hope that you will find it informative, the webinar, and also the sharing of our people from our foundation and the prize. Thank you.
Yep.
And come back to the webinar today. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Viet. Come back to the webinars today. Now I would like to move to the Q&A section, the very important part. Now it's time for all of you to unmute yourself and to ask questions directly to our member of the prize council and the pre-screening committee, and also people from our foundation and our prize. During the time we're waiting for the question, maybe we can get some question from the chat box, or I have one question that sent to the system of the webinar today. So the first question, maybe that Dr. Minh Anh can help us to answer this. Some people ask the question, I think not just one, some people ask question about the time commitment that we need to spend with the submission for the VinFuture Prize.
Yeah, thank you, Giang. Thank you very much for that very good question. About the time commitment, we would like to share that if you already have the good information about the nomination or the nominee in hands, then it would take you just very little time to complete the nomination form. If you go back to the nomination form webpage or the portal that I showed you before, you can find under the portal, there are two templates that we display publicly on the webpage. The first one is the instructions. Inside the instructions, you can find the nomination form, which is very concise and very logically displayed for you. In that nomination form, if you see, we have the mandatory fields and the optional, and we require only if you can fill in the mandatory fields. It takes you a very little time to do so, provided that you already have some information about the nomination in hands. By the way, if you face any technical issues or you lack of any information, please share with us. The Secretariat, our team is here in Vietnam, is already there for you all the times. I mean, if I sleep, then my colleagues don't, and vice versa. So we are there for you all the time, and we would be very happy to assist you. There are maybe, if you don't have any information in hands right now, do submit the nomination, because we have a substantial team. We'll follow up with you about the nomination later in our processes. So please don't worry, do nominate, and if you have any question or issues, please let us know. Thank you, Giang, for that question, and thank you, the nominators who asked the question. I have also the question coming in from our system, which is a very, very valuable question, and I would very much like to ask Professor Thục Quyên Nguyễn, our chair of the webinar today, and also the co-chair of the pre-screening committee. The question is, discoveries or innovation can have industrial, economic, and or societal globally on humanity impact. Why impact on humanity is critical? What is the relative level of emphasis on discoveries by a nominee with industrial and economic impact? Please, Professor Quyên.
So ideally, we would like to have the impact on all of the above that you mentioned. But if we may not have that choice, we play at the foundation, we play the emphasis on the humanity for a couple of reasons, because science and technology and breakthrough should be affordable and reachable to every single person on earth, and not only, for example, only certain class of the society, right? So if we say economic impact, technology can create a product and can make a lot of profit. But maybe billions of people in India, and the farmer in Vietnam, in Brazil, in Mexico, and in Philippines, for example, they may not be able to can afford that kind of technology. And so that's why for this, we play emphasis more on the humanity aspect.
Right. Thank you, Professor Quinn. We also have another very good question for you, Professor Quinn, from Dr. James Garcia Mena at the chat box. Might the evidence for a nominee include videos?
Would you like me to answer that? Or
no, I just want to invite you. Might the evidence for a nominee include videos or video clips?
Yeah. So I think the evidence can come in many different forms. Can be, CV, video, patent, and or license company that can license the technology. So any form that can support our pre-screening committee and the Pride Council to make the decision, we appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you, Chi Quyên. We have another question, but rather than a request, I think, may I check where I can locate a soft copy of the nomination form from Dr. Christy Wong? Please, Dr. Christy Wong, could you please drop us an email to secretariat@vinfutureprize.org. I will send you the copy of the nomination form right away, so you can drop that today. And also other respected nominators are joining our webinar today as well. If you cannot find the soft copy of the nomination form on our webpage of the portal, please do email us. We will send it to you right away. We have the very good question, and I would very much like to ask Professor Kostya Novoselov to address this question. The 2022 season of VinFuture Prize is looking for scientific inventions and innovations that can help revive the world and build up sustainable development after the pandemic. Does that mean that the scientific inventions and innovations that are not related to this theme will not be considered?
Oh, absolutely not. No, we all scientists in the committee, and what we are looking for is the exciting scientific discoveries which benefited humanity in the long run. So just basically, if you want to impress a scientist, think as a scientist. Just I mean, pandemics is of course got a huge impact on all of us, and if your nominee created a big solution for how to end the pandemics, we'll very, very gladly consider it. But believe me, there are more challenges which we are facing as a humanity. So we'll give equal footage to all the nominees.
Thank you very much. I would also like to invite Professor Omayagi to add more, if you wish, to the answer of Professor Kostya Novoselov. Please, sir.
I don't really have very much to add to that. Already very eloquently responding to the previous question. I would say, the beauty of science is that it really impacts on potentially many different directions of society. So I think one of the questions probably a nominator should be able to answer about the nominee. Has the nominee done a scientific study that had an impact beyond the laboratory?
Right.
And
thank you.
I think that would be very helpful to submit.
Right. Thank you very much. We have another question, and I would like to ask Professor Quinn to address this question. Can the candidate submit the documentation by himself or through his organization?
No self-nomination. So if you, so the nomination have to come from the your university or the research center that you are member of. Although you can work with your university in the sense that provide, for example, important information that can help us, the foundation, to make the selection. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Quinn. And also, in line with that, there is another question: is it that nominator could be from one country, but the nominee could be from another country? Please, Professor Quinn.
Absolutely. So there are no written rule that they both have to be in the same country. So yes.
You're right. Thank you very much. There was another question coming in, which is, can you nominate, what is the deadline for the submission of nominations? And how many nominations can a nominator submit? I think that the Secretariat can address this question right away. The deadline of the 2022 submission of nomination is midnight of May 17th, Vietnam time, GMT +7. So we have less than 1 month from today, but please do submit before the deadline so that if you face any technical issues, we can assist you right away. And how many nominations can the nominator submit? One nominator is eligible to submit 4 nominations, including grand prize and the 3 special prizes. Thank you very much for the question. Okay, we have one more question for the pre-screening committee and the prize council members of the VinFuture Prize. Can we still nominate a nominee if his or her work has been awarded by another highly reputable prize? This question is from Dr. Trương Thăng Nguyên. Please, Professor Quinn, could you please address the question?
We do not reject the nomination if the nominee that already got all the global prize, as long as it fits into our criteria, which is have to make the large impact on the people life. Yeah, so that's our criteria.
Thank you very much for that. And I would really like to invite Professor Novoselov to address this question. For the endorsement letters, is it important that the endorsers be distinguished scientists themselves, or is it better to have someone who can speak to the impact and is not necessarily a scientist? Please, sir, could you please address the question?
Well, of course, I should say that we check very, very thoroughly all the nominations. So as you've seen, there are several committees: the pre-screening committee, the actual committee of the prize, plus a lot of people working on the background. So what we are looking for is the nomination to be explained as thoroughly in scientific terms and in economical terms as much as possible. So we would like to see numbers, we would like to see some factual information there. So whomever can provide this information in the best possible way, I think would be the best supporter. So I mean, look, so people who are at the prize. So we've been doing science for many years. We're not easily impressed simply by the names. So we're definitely looking for the facts.
Thank you very much, Professor Novoselov. We have one very good message from the Embassy of Italy.
Yes, I have a very valuable question. The first is a very valuable compliment from Professor Marco Abbiati, Embassy of Italy, Hanoi. I would like to congratulate Vingroup and VinFuture Foundation for the impressive effort they invest in supporting science and excellence in science. I was very impressed by the first edition of the prize. Thank you very much, Professor. And the question is a very valuable question. My question is about the topic eligible for the VinFuture Prize. Prizes are very much focused on technology and economic impacts. However, we realize that in a daily life, human well-being and quality of life is more and more dependent on living in good and clean environments. Are environmental studies considered relevant for the prize? Yeah, that's the question.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would like to invite both Professor Quyên and Professor Kostianavasulov to join hand to address this question. Very, very valuable question.
Yes. Thank you very much for a great question. So you're absolutely right. We actually consider all aspects of science and environmental science and climate change also very important. One of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And so we hope that we receive a number of excellent nominations on that area for this year. Yeah.
Thank you. How about you, Professor Novasulov?
Absolutely, I completely agree. So environmental science is a big chunk of our scientific knowledge. So it's a very complex scientific discipline, involves many approaches from mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. So we would definitely like to see nominations in this category as well. As long as we see clear science and clear impact, we are very, very happy to consider it.
Thank you very much. As long as Professor Marco Abbiati from the Embassy of Italy is here, could you please unmute yourself and reflect on the answers that you have just got from our respective scientists?
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to thank the colleagues for the answer, because as I stressed, environment is becoming more and more important. Of course, as the colleague said, the quality of science and the level of science is essential, but I think it's really relevant that we stress not only as United Nations in terms of developmental goals, but also in really practical terms in implementation of environmental research, how relevant it is for the human well-being all around the world. I mean, there is no distinction between countries when you speak about the environment, because environment on our planet is only one. I mean, there are different habitat and ecosystem, and we live all in the same environment. So it doesn't matter if you live in Asia, in Europe, in the States, in Australia, environment is a global issue which needs to be addressed properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to echo a little bit more on what Professor Quyên shared today. For the grand prize, we need a proven impact. But for special prizes like for developing countries, female innovators, and emerging fields, there can be a potential impact in a year or few years. So please do nominate, and the Prize Council and the Prescription Committee will reserve the right to move the nominations to the appropriate categories of the prize if they deem appropriate. So please do not worry about the process after you submit the nominations, because the Prize Council, the Prescription Committee, the Secretariat, and our evaluators will work very hard to find out more information to support the nominees and the nominations. Thank you very much. And with that very good positive spirit, we would like to conclude the webinar. If you face any technical issues or have any questions until the submission day, please do email us at secretariat@vinfutureprize.org. We will work around the clock to meet your needs and questions. I will pass the process to my very dear colleague, Chang.
Thank you very much, Dr. Minh Anh. And now it's my favorite part, group photo.
Group photos, all right.
Thank you very much for your presence today and for attending our webinar. Today is our last webinar, so we cannot miss the very important part of taking a group photo. So please kindly turn on your camera and we can have one moment together in a picture.
And we will
have some
send...
nominators staying on the beach right now. I'm so jealous.
Great backgrounds. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will send this picture to you through the email later after this webinar.
Right.
Are you ready? Please turn on all of the camera.
Smile.
1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you for joining us today. And we hope that all of your question has been addressed. If you have any problem, please contact us anytime. And really great to see you today.
Yeah.
Hope to see you very soon in the award ceremony.
Right.
Maybe.
We will have two very official channels. The first one is our website where we'll update a lot of information for you, and our official YouTube channel where you can find all the webinar recordings. Please do share with your community and professional experts. Please come back one more time and more time to our webinars and websites and the channel. Thank you very much and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Don't forget to submit your nominations as
By
soon
May
as
17th.
possible.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.